Hi Gemini, welcome to your October 2017 general tarot reading. It's Raina here. So if you're looking for a just pure love reading, I've already put out the one for your sign and it's on my channel, so you can check that out. I think I got a card for you for the King of Cups in the love reading for October, or was it the mid-month reading? I don't know, but definitely recently. So it's kind of funny that I'm still getting that card. Okay, well, it looks like some Gemini people are on the horns of a decision. Got two twos. And I just want to say about Gemini, you are a dual sign, and all the mutable signs have duality. And I guess that's why they're mutable, because they have the ability to change. But Sagittarius, my sun's sign, the opposite sign of Gemini, is man and horse. Then you have Gemini, the twins. You have Virgo, the virgins, and you have Pisces, the two fish. So there's always duality with these signs. And with the twins, Gemini for sure. It's almost like you can have two minds, want to have two occupations. Some of you want to have two different partners, not just one. And for the past position, we have the Two of Pentacles. So we know, because it's Pentacles, that there is something practical associated with it. It could be a practical person, a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo person. You tend to gravitate towards Virgo, probably because you're both ruled by Mercury, because you're mutable signs, but because you have that meeting of the minds, perhaps. But this could be a job offer overseas, like I'm getting two cards that suggest a job offer. Now, in the past position, that may have been some kind of an offer that you have been mulling. In the present, or, well, this is going to be the overall card, actually. So it's kind of permeating the energy for you for October, the Two of Wands. Well, what does the Wands differ from the Pentacles in terms of job? Well, you know, it's interesting because the Pentacles relate to career. But to me, it's like the practicalities of it, almost like the 6th house versus the 10th house. This is like your calling or your creative input in something. So there's much more of a passionate element to it. And the Pentacles is more practical. And you see this person holding the world in his hands. He's looking beyond his immediate environment. So this is a card that is often a dilemma about whether or not to move. But it could even be two career paths that are kind of pulling at you. If this is a love relationship, it could involve a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and, you know, an earth sign. And you may be thinking, do I want somebody who is going to light my fire, or do I want somebody who's going to take care of me? Because the earth sign person can clean up your loose ends, tie up your loose ends, and be like kind of a secretary to you. But it is not necessarily a passionate situation. So you may be like, I wish I could have both of these people, because then I could have one person for inspiration and the other one for my just ability to function on a day-to-day basis. And so we have here the current situation, and this is another Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles. It's a card reminding you that you have the ability to take care of yourself. So whatever it is that you're contemplating, the ultimate responsibility lies on you. And I'm saying this because most people watching this are women who are probably interested in men. If you're a woman who is making this decision, you may fall back into the old paradigm of like, well, I'm going to be all alone, you know, this person's going to take care of me. And you don't need somebody to take care of you. You need a partner, not somebody who's a parent or just an overseer. And someone commented to me about, you know, one of my videos and said that I was kind of making it very, I was directing it towards women or something like that. And, you know, the truth be told, most of the people watching this are women. There are some men, but less than 20%. I love it. But just like when you go into a yoga class, you get very few men, a lot of women. It's just part of social conditioning. I think by, you know, in time things will change. But women tend to be concerned more about their emotional lives, and so they tune in, or the intuitive. And I also see characters in some of these cards. Now you see that they depict her as a woman. If I can find it in 2 seconds, I'm going to look at my Rider-Waite deck, but I'm not going to waste your time with this. I've been making comparisons between my Morgan Greer deck, which I use, and the Rider-Waite deck, because a lot of times you will see slight differences that can add a lot of meaning, and I don't think I'm going to be able to find it on such short notice. But I wanted to remember if, I think they do show a woman. And the number 9, I'm pretty sure, is a feminine number. It's a number of, it's the number in the major arcana of the Hermit card, which is associated with Virgo. So maybe that person is a Virgo for sure, and just kind of reiterating that that's the direction you're leaning towards. This could be timing with Virgo planets, Venus and Mars, and also I think they still are in Virgo in October, but we did have Mercury retrograde in October, and I mean in September when Mercury went direct. So that might have been some kind of turning point for you in some way, Gemini. This would be, but that would be more concerned with family issues, I think, more than anything else. So, well, you know, this is not this is not a love reading, so maybe that is definitely, yeah, maybe that has something to do with family issues. I was just thinking in terms of a romantic partner. But you did have Mercury retrograde in the 4th and 3rd houses, so that could be siblings and also your family of origin, your parents, your mother specifically. Maybe you had to go over some things, and that was I don't know, causing a little bit of friction. And in October, things may be settled, but you may, okay, here's a possible scenario. Perhaps you're thinking about moving back to your hometown and dealing with something to do with your parents, maybe taking care of them, something along those lines, family business. It doesn't show that, but that's the typical reason. The higher message is the 8 of Wands, and this is saying, if you've been having some kind of deliberation inside your mind, you're like literally torn between 2 decisions, things may come in, maybe messages, just events that start to pick things up. And it's going to be, it's like it's outside of you. So you're not having to really think much about it, but you will have to kind of make a snap decision. I'm thinking it's right below the Two of Wands, and it's also in the, it's also a Wands. So I think it may be something more to do with, if it's a fire sign individual, that person becomes the one that you focus on more. This is a spiritual placement here, so there's more of an emphasis not on the practical, but on what your soul really wants and needs. And if this is a job opportunity, it just comes out of the blue maybe, and you have to be flexible enough to kind of snap it up. And I think that Geminis typically are very willing to do things on a moment's notice. But just to prepare you for that possibility, because you may have been having a lot of delays in some matter. Maybe it was even about moving home. And all of a sudden you get an offer, or all of a sudden that house, that dream house that you were looking at, they approve you for it. What crosses you is the Ten of Cups. Yeah, I think there's something with family here, because this is a card in the upright position of family joy, but this is in the challenge position. So there's some disruption of that. Perhaps there's infighting with family members. I was thinking about what your 8th house with like inheritance issues. You do have Capricorn in that house. Definitely with Pluto in Capricorn, there could be some real intense goings on that deal with the money, with resources involving other people, and power struggles with it. And it can get ugly when people do that, because they reduce relationships to money, and that's really, that really sucks. No matter how much you may like money, I certainly like money, but I don't like it enough to lower myself. And so if there is something that's tearing your family apart and it's money related, then that may be what is dealt with. Now you may have this could be a separate thing where you have like wonderful job news, but then there's like this fly in the ointment where your family situation is kind of a little bit being tested at the moment. Advice is the Five of Pentacles. This is to really look at your limiting beliefs when it involves practical matters. When it involves money, when it involves career. If you're the type of person who is very fear-based about money because of maybe how you grew up, or you had some bad experience, you have to be very capable of being flexible with it. In terms of, I'm trying to formulate my thoughts here. In the morning, it's not the easiest sometimes. Just examine what you tell yourself. Watch, listen to Law of Attraction material. Type in Abraham Hicks money, Abraham Hicks career. I was actually being distracted by my thought of thinking about how Gemini is between two signs, Taurus and Cancer. Now, this means that you may have personal planets in either or both of these signs. These are both fiscally conservative in a lot of ways. I would say Taurus out of the two may be more free spending, but Geminis aren't, really known for being big spenders. So, in general, you're a very mental person. I didn't mean crazy. I meant, intellectually based. So you may sometimes be ungrounded when it comes to material things. Maybe you forget to pay your bills. Maybe you forget to eat, and because you're so busy thinking. And so that may just be what's going on too. But the Five of Pentacles is kind of poverty consciousness. And a lot of times this is either karmic, you know, past life haunting the person. And you see this in the case of people who are very rich and they are misers. And it's like you have to know there's something going on there. That doesn't make any sense unless they came from an impoverished childhood in this life. But if there's no evidence of that, then where does that come from? It's coming from somewhere. It's not just randomly happening, right? I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Why somebody would have such an emotional attachment to that, but people do, because they fear losing it all. The other thing is just having low self-esteem. The second house of earned income, which is ruled by Taurus, and this is Mercury in Taurus, by the way, that is also the house of self-esteem, in addition to the money that you earn and the possessions that you have. It's your self-worth. So people who don't love themselves or value themselves, they may tend to deprive themselves. And this could even indicate how they go about earning money. They may feel like money is evil, though, you know, that old thing. And the more sophisticated might even use religious beliefs to justify it. So things like that. And it's very interesting. Once you start exploring it because you want to change, you'll find that you do change. And you don't feel like you're a slime bag, that you're just justifying greed. I'm not talking about greed whatsoever, because greed is actually, the flip side is actually this too. That's what greed and deprivation, forced deprivation, or the illusion of deprivation, those are two sides of the same coin. Because greed is nothing more than somebody who fears lack in the future. They may have enough, more than enough now, but they can't get enough because they can't feel secure. When you don't feel secure, there's not anything in the outer world that's going to make up for that. You're going to always feel this sense of like, oh my God, you know, what if this happened or that happened? So, okay. The outcome is the King of Cups. This is somebody, now this could be, if this is a relationship issue, this could be somebody who is a very caring person and he really calms you down because they understand you, they know what makes you tick, they don't judge you, and you know, they have infinite compassion for you. Sometimes I see this as like a father, because kings can be fathers, or if this is a family issue, if it's not your father, it could be some kind of male relative, an older relative who's always been like a father to you. The third house can be aunts and uncles, I think. You roll the third house, and the Mercury retrograde went into that. That's Leo for you, and you've had a lot of Leo triggers lately. And so perhaps you've been getting in touch with extended members of your family and your siblings, and all of that has dredged stuff up, but there's this one person out there who really gets you, and you're turning to that person. It can be a counselor that you seek if you're you can't make a decision, you literally cannot make a decision, or a new boss who guides you, or maybe even your current boss who's like, go, this is good for you, I support your decision. But it's a very steady and compassionate energy for you, however it shows up in your life, Gemini. So it's very good, because you may be feeling kind of like up in the air, torn, thrown here and there, and you may need somebody like that to kind of, as a sounding board, as somebody to just hold your hand a little bit maybe. So, you know, I'm glad to see that as the last card. And then I'm going to pick a card from my Earth Magic deck for you, or you know, just to round off the reading. keep getting this card. I think like it's possible that a lot of people are trying too hard. And maybe that's why I keep getting it. Because I mean, while I was shuffling, I was like, please let me get another card. Just for my own need for a change of pace. But if that's what keeps coming up, I guess there must be some message here. You have come to the edge of your comfort zone and find yourself fighting to resist moving past that perceived precipice of who you are, how you can be, or what you can do. Spirit is asking you to step beyond the edge and allow yourself to do so with ease rather than struggle. Yes, at times physical exertion is necessary, but when performed with fluidity and grace, even when the task seems daunting, you'll find that the movement moves you effortlessly. Approach the present situation or relationship with awareness and grace. Do not try to make it effortless. That just creates more strain. The key word here is to allow. This is not a time to fight, but to surrender to the will of Spirit. Even if you're being asked to let go completely and tumble into the brink of creation itself, you will find the waters there to be ultimately still and calm. Keep your focus on your solar plexus and your breath, breathing through any tension. Relaxing and yielding to the movement that is occurring at any given moment makes your life effortless. And so surrender seems to be a key message for a lot of people right now. And I guess it's because there seems to be a lot of things up in the air, a lot of turbulence. I mean, I don't like to promote that because I haven't personally experienced it in my own life, but other people seem to have. So I can't deny what other people are experiencing. However, I think that in a way it's overblown, because when you start to make it your mission to align with your life and being as true to yourself as possible, I think that, I was going to say miracles happen, magic happens, but to me it's not anything supernatural. It's just plain common sense that your life will become a lot more, I was going to say predictable, which sounds boring. I don't want a predictable life, but a lot more manageable and a lot more orderly. And that allows you, when you don't have chaos, it allows you to really go after your dreams, because you're not trying to keep everything together just to stay alive, you know. And so I hope that you enjoyed this, Gemini, and good luck to you, whatever you decide to do. And if you'd like a private reading where I use your natal chart for most of them, please click on the link below. Otherwise, take care. Bye.